And now it's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Hey everybody, Ken Chester in the RoadWorthy Drive studios, behind the scenes, another week, another Sunday. Always in here with the RoadWorthy Drive crew, Jack at the controls,
hello,
Sasha at mic 2, and yours truly. For this hour, we're going to be talking about diesel fuel. Guess what? It's not dead. In fact, there are manufacturers doubling down to support diesel-powered vehicles in the United States. We talk about it. There is one state in this country right now that is currently the number 3 producer of crude oil in the world. After Russia and Saudi Arabia, they alone are number 3 and produce half the crude produced in the United States. We'll talk about that. And then finally, we're going to talk about millennials. And even though Sasha is technically a millennial, and we won't hold it against her, we're going to talk about them a little bit, their buying habits, and what this has in store for automakers and the future of mobility. So all of that right here, along with From the Parts Bin this hour on RoadWorthy Drive Behind the Scenes, plus the usual commentary between the takes. Thank you for joining us, and buckle in. Turbulence could be a little difficult. Jack, 11 minutes, sir.
11 minutes, here we go.
Do you want to go faster? Yeah!
It's RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester. Ken loves talking about cars and automotive trends. And here he is, the automotive host with the most, Ken Chester.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. Welcome to RoadWorthy Drive, America's premier mobility news and technology talk show. I am your fully caffeinated host for this hour, Ken Chester. We have a lot to get to. But first, premier mobility news and technology the RoadWorthy Drive crew, I am your fully caffeinated host chime in on the topics at hand. Chester. If you're newbie to the program, maybe the 411 you need to know. First, you can call or text the RoadWorthy Drive line. That number 872 if you're newbie to the 9793. If you'd rather write, you can. My email is Ken at roadworthydrive.872. Either way, we'll keep you hooked up with 9793 drive through. If you'd rather write, you can email the crew. We're working this week to be a full roster for this hour. Holding things down and keep this tapping on control is my friend and show executive producer Jack. Over at Mike 2 is the vivacious and very opinionated Lady Sasha. How does the tapping control is my friend and show executive producer Jack. Over at Mike 2 is everybody safe. Very opinionated Lady Sasha. How does the tapping no. Luckily, you know, over at Mike, but everybody says that it is opinionated. Yeah, nobody's not that. How does the tapping no. Luckily, you know, over at Mike, but everybody says that it is opinionated. Is he the one that got the house? No, that's one. Oh,
Was she the one that got the system?
Over at Mike, but everybody says is he the one that got the house? No, that's one.
Oh, was she the one that got the 27 tornadoes in Iowa confirmed?
Is that the one that got the house?
In the town of
no rain, no clouds.
Wasn't
it that hot? Yes.
I have a show.
No rain, no clouds.
This week, I finally got her talking.
Wasn't it that hot?
First off, back in the end of June, I had an
yes.
I have a show.
No
Somebody
rain, no clouds.
This week, I finally got her talking. First off, back in the end of June, I had to their insurance company. Somebody this week, they took full responsibility. I finally got her talking. First off, sent me in the end of June, I had to their insurance company.
Okay.
They took everything done. First off, sent me in the end of
Press send.
Well, no, I could not. either one of the places on the vehicle where the VIN is, I could not get the
Press send.
Well, no,
That's
I
interesting.
couldn't.
Why not?
I couldn't get it focused on the vehicle. And the problem was there was either too much light or
Press
enough light.
send.
Well, no, when I did the one that's on the side of the, I couldn't get it focused. What do you call that?
Yeah, the
problem was there was too much light.
Press send.
Couldn't get it there. And so I now have to wait till Monday. I'm probably going to have to take the truck over to the insurance companies. Okay, we happen to get a claims area. And so I now have to wait till Monday. I'm probably going to have to take the truck over to the insurance companies.
Usually what that is a matter of focus and light. A matter of just pull the camera back.
I did. And you couldn't. We had to take the truck. Too small.
Usually what that is a matter of focus and light. A matter of just pull the camera back.
I did. Zoom in or
So your story idea is what?
Let's at some point in time start talking about the apps that are out there by the insurance companies and how effective
So
are
your story idea is a lot of apps across the automotive plane. We could do that. That sounds like a Sasha thought. But we'll take that under advisement. There's a lot of apps across. I want to talk about the first publicly accessible hydrogen station in Hawaii. We'll take that under advisement. There's a lot of apps. Aloha. I want to talk about the first publicly accessible set up by the Toyota dealer. I don't even pronounce this thing. Access set up by the Toyota dealer. They set it up and it's able to produce 20 kilograms of hydrogen daily and store approximately 100 kilograms of hydrogen on site. Enough set it up 12 is able to produce vehicle fill-ups. Now, Toyota does make a hydrogen powered vehicle. 100 kilograms of hydrogen on their site, Mirage. Enough set it up. They introduced the Mirage to Hawaii in 2016. Toyota does make a hydrogen and now they're making more was available at the station setup. They introduced the Mirage will be offered for lease only, which will include servicing hydrogen fuel and hydrogen fuel after they introduced the Mirage will be offered for lease only. They're talking about it will include range servicing 312 hydrogen tank and a combined city highway fuel economy rating of 66 miles per gallon. It will include range servicing 312 hydrogen tank and a combined city highway fuel economy rating. So that's 66 gasoline per gallon. So I thought I'd share that. I thought it was pretty cool. With everything going on, hydrogen is trying to make trying to become relevant. So I thought I'd share that. I thought it was pretty cool. You're seeing little pieces of hydrogen, and Toyota is one of the main companies leading that charge. Shifting gears, no pun intended, we go to Germany. Porsche has opened a fast-changing electric charging park featuring an 800-volt fast charger.
Wow.
Did I mention 800 volts?
You did, and now I'm going to just start questioning that from the standpoint of, can my car battery, if I have an electric, go in there and get charged and not get burnt?
It depends. Well, it depends on the setup.
Okay.
There are different levels of charging. You've got the slow charging. You've got fast charging. It really depends on the programming and how the car is set up.
And how do we know how the car is set up?
You would know that. That would be in your instructions when you bought it as to what it would support and what it wouldn't support.
Are you telling me I have to go read the owner's manual now?
There's probably a quick manual in most of these vehicles that would give you that information.
Yeah, there's
and
that big,
the dealer,
thick one, and then there's like this little
20. Yeah. Now it's set up. This is actually the average fast charging station typically is 400 volts.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting there. They think that this charging time is 40 to 80 minutes traditionally. With the 800 volts, it brings it down to 20 minutes.
That is really good.
And they're setting it up. These are in test. They're setting it up for Porsche's new all-electric vehicle, the Taycan. And it will be the first series production vehicle to feature the 800-volt technology, and that's coming out next year.
Now, I do have a question about that. Are they setting up these stations in like restaurant type things?
I don't know, because all I'm talking about right now is the fact that it exists in a test and that they're getting it ready for when Porsche rolls out the Taycan next year.
Okay.
That's all I know.
I was just curious if somebody has actually made that commitment. It just makes sense to me if you're going to be sitting there for 20 minutes, that it would also accompany, you know, like a sandwich shop or something like that.
The bigger question, now bear in mind, these are set up at company sites now in Germany. The big question I've got, the article talks about, and this is directly from Porsche, the charging park is available for charging all electric vehicles for free during normal opening hours. The question is, when you say all, do you literally mean, can I bring a Tesla in there? Can I bring a Nissan Leaf in there?
Can I bring
I don't know.
Bolt?
Yeah, well, probably in Germany, there probably ain't that many.
You're probably right about that.
But it doesn't say. So we'll see. I thought that was also interesting because what you see there is in a test will eventually get here.
Yep.
And that's the thing. One more thing before we go to break is a company called Dubuck Motors, which is introducing one of the world's first and fastest all-electric four-seater sports cars. And you can order one, Jack. It's American.
Okay.
You can pre-order. $125,000 will cost. $5,000 cash will reserve yours. What? Oh, no.
Yeah, what? Like, I got that hanging around.
Well, we thought you did.
Right? So the next budget meeting.
Yeah.
Y'all are in denial. And it's not a river in Egypt. Thank you.
My goodness. Now, they're pitching this car specifically to a specific consumer base of the 11% of the demographic of big and tall men in North America, their words, as well as to women who are seeking a luxurious sports car that's flexible to their lifestyle. The extra row of seats and generous cargo space allows for daily commutes and is even more so versatile to the needs of a family. Somehow, I don't see Carrot and my family in an electric sports car.
I don't either.
Just saying.
I can see that. I can see that.
You probably could.
Right.
It's called a Tomahawk, and they're looking at launching it here in late 2018. So for $125,000, you can own one. Upon our return, reasons why diesel ain't dead in America.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. We are RoadWorthy Drive.
This is RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Yeah, mics are on.
And they are live.
Yes, we are. God help us all. Yeah. Imagine that.
Okay, now
an electric sports car for a big and tall man. So what? They're going to fit you for this thing or what?
No, I'm waiting for the gentleman to come home because the family vehicle is getting kind of old and it's time for an upgrade. And they only have 2 kids. And so he comes with this wonderful idea, honey, that we can go environmentally friendly, and it's something that everyone will enjoy.
And she'll get excited and say, a Tesla Model S?
And he'll be like, close, it starts with a T.
Yeah.
And he'll pull up. I mean, in all honesty, it looks like a drag car. It looks like one of the...
It looks like more like a Bugatti in some ways. In the
yeah, in a little bit. I don't know if necessarily... I mean, I think that I like the fact that it's a 4-seater. Kind of.
I got a list of issues.
Right?
1, dealer support. 2, parts support. 3, durability of materials. I mean, they haven't built to scale. And the first one's out until you build a scale and get your suppliers settled down. That takes thousands of units. Hand-built units are not daily drivers. I don't care who makes them. And unfortunately, I have personal experience with clients relative to that.
Although, Ken, as an automotive historian, you got to love this quote by the owner.
Which is?
He says, I saved my hard-earned money, and at 14 years old, I bought my first car. Not to drive it, but to take it apart. I wanted to understand each component.
Let me
tell
break
us,
this down.
Tell us.
I'm not Walter Chrysler.
Thank you. I mean, and given what's going on
I was
right
16.
now.
I bought my first car to drive. Thank you very much.
But I'm saying, given the circumstances that are going on right now, it's refreshing to hear that. And you, knowing the past the way that you do, you had to have clued into that.
I'm not that impressed.
I am.
Simply because a vehicle is a vehicle. You know, you get in it, you drive it. You know, I wrenched on them because I had to, not because I wanted to. Mm-hmm. When you pay $60 for a car, like I did for my first
$60?
one, $60.
Oh.
For my 1964 Dodge 330, 3 on the tree, straight 225 slant 6, vinyl flooring. Yep. Yeah. Sold the car for $100 though.
Mm-hmm. My first car I bought for $400,
yeah, see,
and I sold it for $1,200.
My first car, I bought for $10,000.
Good Lord! Where were you working?
1988 Plymouth Sundance.
You should have got your money. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, fine. I can shut you off and make you irrelevant.
Oh yeah, but I'm the talent though.
Oh, here we go. By the way, Miss Sasha.
Yes, sir.
I don't think at this point, because of his stand on this, that we even take him to Jay Leno's garage.
Right? Right? All I need is I need probably about 8 days in his.
Well, yeah.
In his facility, because you have to understand they're all not fitting in one garage.
Oh, heck no.
You know what? I think he actually has an estate. I mean,
well, he's got a lot of storage space wherever he's at.
Yeah, wherever he's got them.
Okay, people, you got the jingles
I'm ready.
up. You got the Dodge Dart.
Yeah, I figured Dodge was first.
Yes, it was. 9 minutes.
Can you tell he's a Dodge man?
Hey, don't be hating. Don't be hating. I was a Plymouth man too, except not the Sundance.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, I had a talk with Chrysler Corporate about that one in person.
Yeah, I know. The one Plymouth I absolutely loved, and I will never get my hands on one.
I want my Valiant back.
Wow.
Plymouth Super Sport with the wing on the back.
I got pictures of those.
I know you got pictures of those, but they are so hard to find, and the guys that got them aren't going to surrender.
Oh, you're going to be in low 6 digits.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, my God. Well, it
ran 1 year in NASCAR before NASCAR banned it. Because
they were winning.
They were winning all the NASCAR races.
Yeah.
What?
They were winning all the NASCAR races
because of that wing.
It had a high wing on the back.
It had a special nose to reduce wind resistance.
Yep.
Yeah, they're unmistakable. I have pictures of those. So
that car is, and in that, what would you call that? Powder blue?
Well, not just blue. I've seen them in yellow.
Well, now I've only seen them in blue.
Yeah.
This was released as a production car?
Well, here's the thing. Back then in NASCAR, in order to race back in the day, it had to be a vehicle that was in production.
Oh, okay.
So what happened back then is the automakers would compile kind of barely street legal, but really nudge, nudge, wink, wink, NASCAR.
Yes, for NASCAR.
In order to qualify for NASCAR, Chevy even had an order for it. They call it a COPO car.
Now,
central ordering. I forget the abbreviation.
Did they have to produce a certain amount, certain number of them for production?
Yeah. Also remember one thing: whoever won on Sunday, i.e., the manufacturer, if Chevy won on Sunday, their sales on Monday were through the roof.
Well, it's the old adage: race on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yep.
That's where that came from.
Okay,
people, 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
Meet the 64 Dodge Dart. The new kind of compact in the large economy side. Get behind the wheel of this one. Here's the compact you've been looking for. Family-sized room. Power to spare. Rugged. good looking as they come. Dodge Dart, the family-size compact at the little compact price.
You gotta meet up with a dependable smooth up. With a dependable smooth up. With a dependables built by Dodge. Oh, boy!
64 Dodge Dart, the new kind of compact in the large economy size.
If you're just joining us, you're riding with the RoadWorthy Drive crew. Welcome. I'm Ken Chester. You would think with all this negative publicity surrounding diesel fuel and diesel-powered vehicles, other than tractor-trailer, of course, that from Volkswagen to Daimler, even to Ford and General Motors, that it is curtains for diesel. And I say to you, sir, not so fast.
And I will tell you something. I've been looking at pickups for my dad.
Okay.
The majority of the pickups, and they have your size, like the 350 or the 3500, they are all diesel.
Oh, look, all I'm saying is just because it hasn't keeled over and died does not mean that it's not on life support. I mean, there's a few bleeps going across the monitor, but we all know at the end of the day, the will is written, everything's in order, they've got the plot, they've, nailed against the tombstone. Yeah.
Are you done?
Not yet.
From SEMA, our friends at SEMA,
Yes.
the Specialty Equipment Market Association. Diesel market update, that's July.
Okay.
Finding the best way forward for the U.S. market. Let me read this to you.
All right.
The diesel powertrain has always been a great necessity for the American driver, but perhaps it's never garnered the love and recognition it truly deserves. Most appreciated for its functionality around the farm or on the job site, diesel is the fuel of choice for many full-size trucks, utility vans, and other heavy-duty work vehicles. But while many are quick to reserve the application of diesel power sources solely to those work vehicles, the market shows a thirst for more applications. Once considered a more polluting, noisier alternative to the typical combustion engine back in the 70s and 80s, diesel powertrains nevertheless earned a place under the hoods of commercial vehicles across the United States. After decades of refinement and development, the current U.S. diesel market, still largely composed of the same utility vehicles, but a desire to further diesel's presence in other vehicle classes, is an expanding school of thought. Let me throw this at you, Sasha, and I start with this, and I quote from SEMA: American original equipment manufacturers double down.
Okay, but this reminds me of when I was younger, the Volkswagen Rabbit diesel.
1980.
Then there was another one that was
GM tried a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, there was some cars that, 1990s, and if you could get yourself a hold of one of those Rabbit diesels, or if you could get a hold of, there was another one that...
Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Chevrolet, all the full-size ones.
But there was another model that, people went goo-goo over. I mean, if you had one in the used paper, it was not there long.
The brand new 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit diesel was selling at dealers back that day for over $2,000 over sticker.
Yeah.
I remember. Let me throw this at you. Now, this article goes on to say that Japanese companies kind of avoid it altogether, and that's not true. In 2019, two makes are actually introducing their first ever dieselforsale.com in the United States.
Which two?
The 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe, the 2019 Kia Sorento will both be offered in a diesel. First ever.
Didn't Chevy take one of their cars recently and make it a
The
diesel?
Cruze.
Yeah,
Chevy
the Cruze.
Cruze had a diesel. But wait a minute. Ford announced a Power Stroke diesel option for the 2018 F-150. First time ever. And a half-ton truck.
What do you think is fueling this infatuation with diesel engines?
A big list. One, they're cleaner. Two,
than they were in the past.
Two, they go
Yeah.
for miles and miles.
Yeah.
Three, they're durable as all get out. It is not uncommon to run 300,000 miles on one of these things before they even need any maintenance.
So do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you think that obviously we all know that they're more durable, they last longer. So do you think that we're getting away from my car's 4 years old and I'm going to go ahead and trade it in, and now we're moving towards people that they're going to make the big purchase and then they're just going to ride it into the ground?
That's been going on for 20 years.
Well, not necessarily, because we got into this mindfuck that, people would just turn around.
Hold on. The average age of an American vehicle on the road right now is 11.4 years.
Okay.
That's right now. And I need to throw this in, because this is going to really blow our mind. Hyundai and Kia are not alone. There's another automaker that's going to offer a diesel for the first time ever in the United States in 2018. Are you ready for it? The Jeep Wrangler has a diesel option now. Four-cylinder Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
The first time ever.
I've been trying to get to this point for 3 minutes here.
Just three?
Just three.
What you got?
In looking for trucks for Dad,
Okay.
the difference in price is darn near $10,000 because, and the majority of that is the upcharge for the diesel engine.
Okay.
It's like $8,500, $9,000 to get that engine. I can buy a lot of gas for $9,500.
Yeah, but part of that is they press you into a higher trim level. Because the average...
Actually, no, because in one of the trucks I looked at, it was all the way down at the XL, and those were all diesel.
Now, is that because you had to go commercial? Like, are those like specialty order ones?
Well, no. You go out and look at any of the heavy, 2,500, 3,500, F250, F350.
Right.
The majority of those sitting on the lot today are diesel.
I need to make this point before we go to break. This is from SEMA. As the market grows for new diesels, the aftermarket's growing too. SEMA market research shows that there's more than 6 million diesel trucks in operation in the United States, million more vans, SUVs, and sedans. Add to that total, creating an expansive aftermarket opportunity. Those companies that have expanded in the aftermarket can't keep up with it. There's this one that opened 7 years ago as a Power Stroke specialty shop for Ford. Their expanding customer base had them add Duramax, which is GM, and Cummins, which is Ram, which the shop now obliges. They can't keep up with it. So the bottom line is, it's growing, and it's a choice. It's another choice in Ken's mosaic of mobility, and that's what I really think it is. So they told us that peak oil was in 1970. Yet the United States keeps setting output records for crude oil and natural gas production. Find out who is number 3 producer of crude in the world and why it matters. That's next.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. You're riding shotgun with RoadWorthy Drive Crew.
You're tuned to RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
So we have to do another take on that.
No, we don't.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. You are riding shotgun with the RoadWorthy Drive Crew. There we are. There we are. I'm just saying.
I am too.
Oh, see what I have to put up with people.
He loves it.
Every minute he loves it.
I will tell you.
He is our resident curmudgeon for a reason, but deep down, he's a softie. He's a
Well, yes, I am. However,
He's
Dad-
Ooey Center.
Don't tell nobody.
Dad and I both owned a Power Stroke, 2 of them.
Okay.
And the biggest problem, and the biggest problem we had was keeping glow plugs in the thing.
Yeah.
And the worst part was, guess who made the engine for them? International. They have now completely gone back to making their own diesel engine because they were having so many problems
About 10 years ago.
with the Power Stroke. And like Ken said, you've got specialty shops popping up all over the place, and they can't keep up.
But again, I'm just curious. I'm curious about what is going on right now in the American automotive consumer's mind that is causing this mass desire, once again, for a diesel engine. And yes, it's cleaner, yes, they're quieter.
Gas mileage.
Oh, well, that's part of it, but wait a minute.
But you're paying more.
Not necessarily, not that much. At times, yes, but right now, no.
Right now, the difference is about 30 cents a gallon.
Not even that.
Okay,
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
but
now, hold on. You're saying that the diesel is cheaper?
No,
More expensive.
More
That's what I thought, because you're paying more. You're getting a better gas mileage. Yes, absolutely. You get a longer longevity on your engine. Absolutely, nobody's doubting that. But by the same token, you're paying more at the sticker price, and you're paying more at the pumps.
Yep.
And the diesel engine gives you one thing no internal combustion engine will ever give you.
The
low end torque.
Okay.
Serious low end torque. You look at the numbers for these diesel engines. The horsepower ain't that big. You look at the torque and at what RPM it's available. Most of its torque is available at the low end, which is why almost all of them are turbocharged. Why? If you didn't turbocharge a diesel engine, it would be totally useless at highway speeds because its power, everything available to it, is available at the low end from start.
At the get.
Yeah, you're at like 1,250. You're barely above idle, and that's where its grunt is. You let the clutch out on one of those things, you're trying to move something. If it don't move with one of them engines, it ain't never going to move. And that is why a lot of people are turning. I've always wondered for years why automakers did not combine a small diesel power plant with an electric hybrid. Get a low-end grunt.
The trains do it all the time.
Trains been doing it for 70 years.
Yep.
That's a very interesting point.
If you had a 2.5-liter diesel with all that grunt,
Yeah.
and you put it with a hybrid, not only you get tremendous power, but I mean it's a no-lose proposition. And I would do the diesel engines the way that Volvo just recently did 4-cylinder engines. I had always wondered for years why they didn't both turbocharge and supercharge an engine. Volvo did, and I was right. These things are incredible.
And
If you've never driven one, let me tell you, if you drive a Volvo S90, you will lift the hood to find out that you're driving a 4-cylinder and it don't drive like that.
No, it doesn't.
If you can imagine a diesel engine that has the ability, 1, to burn a variety of fuels, 2, is connected to a hybrid, 3, so you've got the combination because electrics also have that advantage of having all your torque from zero. And you've got a diesel that also kicks in, and you can put that in a small power plant that works. You've got a power plant that works all day for next to nothing, and you get 300,000 miles or more. In our next story, we're going to talk about a Tesla. This Tesla Model S we're going to talk about it has over 400,000 miles, and it's on its way to 600,000, and it's still running.
Wow.
Oh, and did I mention it's probably a 4-year-old Tesla?
No, I did not know that. But the one thing I can tell you is empty, because I've driven them recently. Both. I will say, we're looking at Fords, we're looking at Chevys.
Okay.
Okay. I've driven both diesels, and I've driven the gas ones that they've had.
Okay.
At that point, at the 3,500 level and the F350 level, it's staying hard. I almost have to now order my truck.
And that makes sense for what they cost.
Yeah, for what they cost. But I stepped into a diesel. Other than the pickup itself and the salesman and I in it, that thing almost took my head off, or almost sent it to the back seat, because they got that much power. And when you're pulling something, and God knows I pulled a lot of things in my life, it is important that you have not only be able to get started, but be able to keep speed too.
Yeah. Which means you're also looking at what, an Allison 106-speed?
In the Chevy, it was an Allison. In the diesel, it was an Allison.
Yeah, had to be.
But
heavy duty Ford, it was a power torque.
Yeah.
Power torque 5-speed, power torque 6.
Okay.
Everything that I drove recently has been a 6-speed.
Yeah.
Because they're not, and they're talking about either next year or the year after. The salesman told me that Ford is going to look at putting in a 10-speed.
Well, think about it. Ford and GM have collaborated
On
in
transmissions.
6-speed transmissions. They've collaborated on the light-duty 10-speeds that they're running now.
Yep.
So if they could come up with a heavy-duty, robust version of their 10-speed, the reason for more gears is fuel economy and the fact that it optimizes engine torque,
Yep.
which is why they do it.
Right.
They want that engine to be operating at the top end of each gear torque-wise to get the maximum benefit.
Okay.
You know, they don't want you necessarily at the low end because you lose a lot. And if they can do that, that's what's going on. So, all right, we are at 9 minutes, segment 3.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about this state, which totally blew my mind.
Do you reveal the actual answer in here? Can I read ahead?
No.
Aww.
Here we go.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. This is segment number 3 of this hour of RoadWorthy Drive. So glad you decided to drop in. I'm Ken Chester. Did you know that the show website is a great place to learn more about RoadWorthy Drive? That's roadworthydrive.com, and it has all the information you could ever want about the show, the RoadWorthy Drive crew, and heaven knows what else. In addition, it's a great place to discover where we are in the world of social media. Now, if you like watching how we strive and sometimes struggle to put the show together each week, you can tune into our YouTube channel to watch RoadWorthy Drive behind the scenes each and every Sunday afternoon.
I have a question.
Yes.
How in the world did she get that Lexus she's driving?
Well, you know what? We're about to talk about that. Let me go a little further. Okay. If you happen to like us on Facebook, we've developed a weekly Facebook only. Did I mention only? Only. Video series just for you called Wheels of Non-Consent. And it's hosted by Sasha of the crew. And she, according to her, borrows or, well, you know, I'm going to let her explain it.
Okay. So
You're going to try to, you know.
I'm going to try and put this into layman's terms.
Go for it.
So
Okay, you got to explain it to Jack.
Right. So Ken gets automotives every week.
Vehicles.
Automotives.
Vehicles.
I could say vehicles.
Thank you.
Combustion engine / hybrid
/ occasionally full electric.
/ full electric. Yes.
Thank you.
Vehicles. I thought that it would be a nice opportunity to show the public what's available for their dollar. I thought that it was a great opportunity to show what's available for technology for their dollar. What the different brands offer, what they're actually putting into the vehicles. For somebody like me, where my car is a 2002, stepping into a 2019 Lexus, 350 ES, first time edition Sport.
We want it back.
I mean,
No, Sasha. Grand Theft
Auto. It's a felony, dear.
I mean,
I'm not explaining it to Lexus.
if I make it to Vegas and I come up with the money to buy the car, is it really technically Grand Theft Auto?
Kind of, because number one, the vehicle you're reviewing this week is a pre-production model.
I know.
So it's not even available in the market yet.
Yeah, you can't even go to your Lexus dealer right now and say, "Can you tell me about this new car?"
And by the way,
Yes, sir.
that car will probably be destroyed.
Not necessarily.
Oh, really? I thought with the pre-production that they...
Not necessarily. It may never be registered, but, well, wait a minute, take that back. It is registered now.
Yeah.
So it may never be sold. That's what I should say. Also, not quite a spoiler alert, but it's possible that during this week's report that Sasha will be doing, she may be making some national news.
Huh?
Yeah, Sasha might be making some national news. That's all I'm going to say.
Now what did she do?
And I'm serious. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm very serious. She might be making some national news.
When the mics are off, somebody better tell me what's going on.
Don't worry. It does not involve handcuffs or law enforcement.
I mean, do we have to? Sorry.
Yeah, easy, Sasha.
Let's move on.
So, people, Wheels of Non-Consent.
Wheels of Non-Consent. Make sure that you like my page, Tech with Sasha.
And it wouldn't hurt to like the RoadWorthy Drive page,
It would not hurt at all to like the RoadWorthy Drive Facebook page. But at least then you'll be alerted when I go live. I have been known to go live spontaneously while I'm in the car.
Spontaneous combustion?
I mean, you've driven this car, Ken. You know the power that happens when you press down on the accelerator.
All I'm going to say, Sasha,
Yes, sir.
the car is due back.
Thursday morning.
Make sure we get it back. Now, for those of you that are truly mobile, check us out on Google Play or Blueberry Podcasting. All right. Coming back to Earth for a minute.
Yes.
Again, last couple of weeks, we've been kind of taking a little detour. We talk about all sorts of things here on RoadWorthy Drive because we're all about mobility. Now, we don't want to slight or throw shade on crude oil. So occasionally, since it's going to be a part of our lives for at least the foreseeable future, according to Sasha, a dramatically diminishing part of our lives, but a part of our lives nonetheless. I thought I would talk about the irony that even as the world is moving towards electric vehicles and other vehicles that don't burn fossil fuels, that the United States of America is in the process of becoming #1 in the production of these crude oil. Plunging drilling costs have sparked an explosion of production in this particular state and is making that particular state a global oil superpower. It is #3 behind Russia and Saudi Arabia. That state, with its own set of problems, yes, sir.
Texas.
Give the man a cookie.
I am fresh out of cookies.
It is Texas. 2 fields in Texas alone, the Permian Basin and the Eagle Ford oil fields, are expected to produce 5.6 million barrels a day.
Okay, can I point out the fact that now that everyone else is backing away from the game, just because you and your team are the last ones on the field and you're still racking up points because the other team's already in the locker room?
Actually,
Hold it. The biggest thing is, though, Sasha, in Texas, is the fact that they've gone back in now to fields that were supposedly empty.
I heard that, like dry fields.
And what they're finding is they didn't get all the oil.
it's called computer enhancement.
Yeah.
It's
that
called
they're able to
fracking. They're using new technology. They're able to get more out of the fields. But remember, Texas produces half the oil we produce. And contrary to Sasha's belief, we're still talking hundreds of millions of barrels of oil a day around the world that get pulled out of the ground and still get consumed. And also, don't forget this. Oklahoma, North Dakota, California, and Alaska are all oil states. Here's something else you need to know. In the Permian Basin, where everybody is rushing to get there, there is such a rush to produce oil because it's got so cheap to pull out the ground. The pipelines are overloaded. They can't deliver it.
Okay, hang on. Where is this field at?
The basin?
Yeah, in Texas. I'm not sure exactly where.
Okay, but it is in Texas.
Oh, yeah, we're still talking Texas.
Okay.
Oh, no, I thought it was the one that's up in the northern part. Or is it
No. We're talking Texas, not North Dakota.
No. I meant in the southern part of Texas.
I'm not really sure where it is.
I don't know.
But I will tell you this. It's the crisis of finding recruitment. They need drivers. They need water. They need all this stuff to make it happen. The rush is so bad, and they can't get all the oil out the ground that they're currently developing, that actually per barrel oil coming out of Permian Basin is actually now selling at a $14 discount.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Because the oil pipelines are choked. They can't deliver it.
Wow.
They cannot even deliver it right now. Now, the best performing well in the Permian breaks even, get this, at $22 a barrel.
Wow.
They can make money
At $22 a barrel.
2201. They're making money.
Wow.
More than ever, the fast-growing Permian Basin is being relied on to quench the world's thirst for oil. Texas, y'all, don't mess with Texas. That's all I'm saying. And if you're a truck driver down there, you can make some serious bank. That's all I'm saying. In six figures. Okay, so finally, much has been written about the habits of millennials, especially how they spend money and view mobility. We take a look to separate fact from fiction.
Real facts, real opinions, real talk. This is RoadWorthy Drive.
RoadWorthy Drive is a cornerstone of the RoadWorthy Drive radio network.
If you deliver water in Texas, in the oil basin, you can make six figures, and chances are somebody will offer you still more money. right now.
Yeah.
They can't get laborers. They can't get experienced field hands. They can't get nobody down there. And everybody's bidding up the price for just about anything down there. Unfortunately, the number of major accidents on those roads has gone up too, dramatically.
Now, how far are they trucking the oil once it leaves the field to get to a refinery?
Probably hundreds of miles. This is where I think it is. I think this is in the Texas Panhandle, Permian Basin.
Okay, and then where are they going? Houston?
You're going to have to go further than that. You probably go to the Texas coast, halfway across the state, and that's the problem. The other problem is, because pipelines are backed up, you either got to ship it by rail, meaning possible derailment, truck, possible explosion or accident, and that's a big issue. Now, they expect the pipeline issue to be resolved in the next year and a half, because they're putting in pipelines now. They can't keep up. Basically, if you want to make great money and you don't mind the hours, go to Texas. And do what? Yeah. And you have your CDL? No, you don't. Thank you. No.
Well, no, I absolutely not. I actually have a CDL. But again, I'm only...
Send us a postcard.
No, right. I'm only allowed to drive school buses.
Because there are addendums to it.
Yeah.
And they'll require, typically, if you're going to drive a CDL in Texas oil field, you probably have to have hazmat certification and certain other additional certifications.
Yeah, because isn't there one for explosives, highly explosives?
There's a hazmat endorsement.
Right.
There is also the... I think if I remember right, I think there's a tanker endorsement too.
That's what I thought, yeah. Because a friend of mine,
and you also have to have air brake endorsement.
That's right, that's the one.
What is it?
Air brake.
Okay.
Because of the weight.
Yep.
And they perform differently. So, but I'll tell you what, if you had a CDL and you were willing to go down there, I bet they take you under their wing. You might start at 60 to 70,000 as opposed to 100. But they train you with a quick.
Oh yeah, they're going to train you up real fast.
Yeah.
And number two, most of the trucking companies now are saying that if I were to leave now and go take a job with a trucking company, it is 6 months before I get to come home.
Yeah.
I'm gone for 6 months.
Well, we've documented heavy duty here, the overall shortage of truck drivers across the country.
Yep.
Right now, we're talking about 48,000 short.
I mean, and you have to have just a basic CDL to do like your grain delivery, to like silos, the bins and stuff.
As long as it doesn't have air brakes.
Right. Basic. They are seriously desperate for drivers. And nobody wants to work the hours. I mean, it's long, hard, no matter what kind of weather, kind of work. And nobody wants to put it in.
And you're looking at a starting salary usually of about $60,000 plus. And signing bonuses, which means, but again, it's very lonely, fairly dangerous, and I mean, if you're a long-haul trucker, there's money to be made, but you pay a price for that.
Yep.
Which is why a lot of times when you see on the trucks on the highway, they make an emphasis home every night or in-state, or they make those points as they're pleading for.
There was one that they said that they will fly the part of the stipulations, It said that they would actually fly in or transport the family for free if they were not home.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I forget who it was. That it was some kind of long, like over the road, and then it was like once a month family premium, I think is what, or per diem is what they called it.
I will guarantee you this. As we talk about autonomous vehicles and they get this stuff worked out, I fully expect the heavy truck industry, the long-haul interstate truck industry,
they're going to drive it.
to be,
They're going to
I
drive
think
it.
that and tractors, farm tractors.
Yep.
Those are the two that need it the most because they have the craziest hours, the most treacherous working conditions.
Yep.
And if they get there, it kicks open. Imagine. And then we'll get on to this last one. But I want to put this in your mind. Imagine an environment where autonomous trucks run our highways from midnight to 3 in the morning, from truck terminal to truck terminal.
Yep.
And once you get ag money and trucking industry money back behind autonomous vehicles and back behind pushing.
Oh, it is
the,
now.
right. I mean, once they actually start pushing for legislation and they need this and they need that, you're going to see it just snowball.
But where I'm going, imagine quality of life. Right now, trucking companies are turning down loads because they don't have the trucks and they don't have the drivers. They're turning down loads. Imagine if that bottleneck in our flow of goods and services was gone. What does that do for quality of life for everybody when you've got what an autonomous truck, if you've got a, and I've envisioned this years ago, where I could see from like midnight to 3 or 3 to 6 in the morning, interstates being closed or severely limited to autonomous traffic. And they go terminal to terminal. Okay? Now your truck driving jobs are last mile jobs, meaning you're home every day. You work an 8, maybe 10-hour job. They can get really flexible about it. You ain't going more than 150, 200 miles a day tops, and you're home every night. Imagine that.
Stress, you're not overdriven, your eyes aren't burning because you had to be.
Well, and the other thing that I wanted to mention about you were saying the trucking industry. Didn't Freightliner say that they were developing an autonomous truck?
Yeah.
Daimler did, Volvo has, it's happening.
Okay.
We talked about it. Not only autonomous, we also talked about electric.
Yep.
And that's going to be a thing because, again, diesel fuel. If you can find a way to get a truck to travel 300 to 500 miles without heavy batteries, that will reduce your load hauling capability. Autonomously, it blows this thing wide open because you've nailed the two biggest expenses and the two biggest bottlenecks: the cost of fuel and the ability to have a driver.
And not only that, the amount of driver damage and abuse that these trucks go through.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah. Well, you're right about that.
I've got a friend of mine that drives truck. She's talked about that. Some of these things are just filthy and disgusting.
I mean, a lot of these drivers, I mean, they get in, they don't treat it well. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars.
Unless you're an owner-operator, then it's
right, then it's your baby.
Talk to me.
Right? And then, you know, you're parking in a parking lot and there's like a little itty-bitty microscopic scratch and you're like, right? Like seriously hurt somebody.
Okay, people. 8 minutes, 50 seconds. Last segment, first hour. Folks, we're glad that you've hung with us. This is how it's done.
Yes.
This is kind of like making the sausage. It's not always pretty, but it tastes good afterwards. We're glad. Yeah, I know.
Why did you go there?
Right?
Because
You realize that everything goes into a sausage. Like everything left over. It's kind of like Jell-O. The hooves, the fat, skin, the lips. Wow.
Anyway, folks, we appreciate
Moving
you.
on.
Okay, 8 minutes, 50 seconds.
Yep.
This is the final segment for this hour of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm your host, Ken Chester. Thanks for listening. For the last topic up for discussion, I thought I would talk about millennials. Now, in case you didn't know, that means people born between 1981 or so through about 1996 are classified as millennials. That would make them from about 22 years old through about 37 years of age. Wait a minute. Sasha, you're one of them so-called millennials.
I am not.
I
barely
that.
make it.
But you make it, though. So, Sasha, actually, this segment's sort of about you.
Everything's about me, though.
Let's talk about... I know, Jack. I know. Just roll with it, man. I understand. Let me give you some perspective of why this matters.
Okay.
Now, you and me, Jack, we're part of the baby boomer generation.
Wow.
At 77 million people.
I'm in the isolation.
Now, between us and Sasha is the Gen Xers.
Correct.
That's 61 million. So it's dropped a little bit. Apparently, the Gen Xers was a happy group of people because millennials come in at 92 million. That's almost 1 out of every 3 Americans right now is a millennial.
That's a lot of...
Now I'm right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of commercialization right there.
Yeah, and these wonderful individuals, young adults, we'll call them young adults, are about to move into their prime spending years. Now, I'm looking at some data believe it or not, that came from, as Jack would say, wait for it, Goldman Sachs.
Now tell me, are they saying millennials are spending like millions of dollars in the fake currency?
No, hold on. We're going to get all there. Let's talk about, let's just set this up properly.
Okay.
Would you believe that right now, approximately 28% of millennials are living at home with their parents?
Yes.
I would believe that. Yes.
That, here's something else. That these same millennials, the percentage of young people married and living on their own, has dropped by more than 50% since the 1960s. In 1968, 56% of 18 to 31-year-olds were married and living in their own household. By 2012, that was 23%.
Again, that does not surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me either.
But think about that. That has, if they're not out buying houses and starting families, living with mom and dad,
it's gotten to be too expensive, though. And we're also talking about a situation where the millennials, they aren't focused on that so much.
But bear this in mind. The millennials were coming of age during the recession.
That's true. They were. And they want, for some reason, the ones that I meet, all they want is the carefree lifestyle.
I do too.
We all do. But also, the other thing is, they want to start out exactly where their parents started out.
Oh, no. Now, see, the ones that I'm coming into, they're the ones that they literally want to make a bus into something that they just drive, and they are perfectly happy as clams to live as like gypsies. Rolling around in their wagons.
This is the page I wanted to get to. Okay. And this is the one that's most chilling about their thought process towards owning a vehicle.
Okay.
Out of 100%, only 15% view a vehicle ownership as extremely important.
I'm right in there. That's where I'm a millennial.
On the flip side, that's even scarier. 30%, I do not intend to purchase one in the near future. Then you've got the middle ground from everything. 25% say it's important but not a big priority. 5%, I don't feel strongly about it. 25%, this is telling. I might purchase one if I really needed it, but indifferent otherwise. This has major consequences as these young people are coming into buying age, starting families. If 1/4 of them are living at home, if a small portion of them is getting married, you've got a lot of single folks, and that's different needs, which means full-size trucks, full-size cars, full-size minivans, well, not all SUVs, the big ones.
And here's the other thing that, Ken, you and I have discussed this many times. The two biggest purchases you will ever make is a house and it is a car.
Yep.
Now, how many times have you and I talked about money changing hands?
Right.
Okay. That is exponential.
Right.
Now, they're not spending this money on the two biggest things you will ever buy, and all of a sudden, they're going to find out that they are in a world of hurt.
Well, the economy becomes a world of hurt, which is why I wanted to talk about it.
Well, if the economy comes in a bunch of hurt, then you got bigger problems later on.
Well, but
that's going to affect them.
But let's look at this. If 15% say that owning a car is extremely important, and we're in the mosaic of mobility, some are going to ride scooters, bicycles, ride share, carpool, car share, Uber and Lyft covering the gamut now of transportation with apps that even work from, including public transportation, so that you can coordinate once you get off the train, the bus, whatever, with an Uber, a Lyft, a bicycle, a scooter, a car. This is where we're going. So what does that mean for the auto industry, for the retail auto industry, for the insurance industry, for the suppliers, for the dealers, for the insurance companies, for the banks, all these people who are in business to insure, finance, deliver, create vehicles?
But we've talked about this. I mean, you're talking about an age where their main buyers are getting older.
Yep.
And the next generation, They don't want it. They don't want the responsibility of a vehicle. They don't want the cost of the vehicle. And I think that's exactly why we are seeing a shift and an explosion on choices. You know, you've got Canvas, you've got these, they pay the monthly.
Really?
I had to.
I
had to. It's been like a month since I mentioned them.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it's like a year.
By 4. Anyway. But you have these different options. I mean, I would do it. I would give up owning a car hands down tomorrow.
And see, I'm completely opposite. I will not give up the right to own a car.
It's not a right.
Let me throw the money. Let me throw this at you. To superimpose on top of that, it is not important for millennials for you to have a strong brand. Doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
The statement is, when I shop, I always try to buy branded products. They could care less.
Yep.
Only a small percentage tend to agree.
And they're really trying, and that goes across the board of products. They're really trying to get them back into pay attention to us because we're this brand.
92 million people. Oh, wow. As you can see, time waits for no one, so we've come to the end of this hour. On behalf of the RoadWorthy Drive crew, thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to RoadWorthy Drive.
RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester is a copyrighted presentation of the RoadWorthy Drive Radio Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use is prohibited without the written consent of the Motor News Media Corporation.
Before we part ways, with the millennials coming into their earning years, it's going to have a big, it's going to have
a big upset.
Not so much upset as in disruption, as the way that our economy does business. Yes, Sasha.
Because we're going to split hairs on that?
We are.
Is that what we're going to do?
We are.
Okay,
Get over it. We'll maintain this. We'll see how this goes and where we go with it. But the millennials are going to drive the economy, and as millennials go, so goes our future. And that's all the time we've got this week behind the scenes on RoadWorthy Drive. On behalf of Jack, Sasha, and myself, the 3 members of the RoadWorthy Drive crew, thanks for watching. We will see you next Sunday, and you don't want to miss it. Be sure to drop back in. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.